Back to another video. Let's go. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another video on my channel. If you know me, my name is Anime Beast. And I'm a beast. I'm not a beast. I'm just an anime beast. Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed, like, turn on notifications. And let's get into this what if. Brand new what if. What if Naruto was raised by Itachi? Uchiha. And we're gonna start this what if with a red-haired woman and a black-haired woman. The black-haired woman who's carrying a baby, which we know is Mikito. Which we know. The red-haired woman says, me. Yeah, Mikito, is that your new daughter? Mikito then says, the one we now know as Mikito then says, no, he's my son. His name is Sasuke Uchiha. Oh, that's a nice name, isn't it? So how are you doing, Kushina? The red-haired woman as we now know as Kushina. Kushina says, I'm doing fine. As then a little boy, with long black hair. That's long, soft, and has a little ponytail tied. Runs up and says, hello, Mom. And he looks at his mother holding the child. And he says, hi, Auntie Kushina. As Kushina says, hello there, little Itachi. As Itachi's like, huh? What happened to Itachi then says, what happened to your stomach? Like, oh, I'm just pregnant. As Itachi then says, huh? As Mikito then says, Itachi. I mean, she's having a baby. Oh, okay. As Itachi then runs off again. Itachi then runs off. To the other kids. As then we skip over to see a woman. We skip over to see a red-haired woman on a stretcher screaming. As a blonde-haired man with blue eyes is holding her stomach, holding some sort of seal, trying to prevent the Ninetales from coming out. An old lady says, Kushina, it's almost out. As Kushina's like, it hurts, As she screams even louder. Then a few minutes later, you hear the cries of a baby. Minito, who's happy. Minito, who's jumping in praise and crying. Minito then met. The blonde-haired long man is jumping high up in the air and crying as he tries to carry his newborn baby. Then an old woman slaps his hand away and says, Minito, and then says, mothers first. Minito, you are Hokage, you should know this. As he then sighs, as Minito then waits for Kushina to say, oh, he's so beautiful. As Kushina says, Minito then grabs Naruto and he starts cradling him. As As then he puts his hand together, his fist in his palm, and says, well, I guess now it's time to reseal the Nine Tails. As he tries to, a warp happens. A warp comes out of nowhere as the two nurses and also the old lady drop to the ground. As there's a masked man holding a baby, a blonde-haired baby, newborn baby that's a few hours old, crying, who's crying for his father to come and help him. Minito then says, who the heck are you? Let my son go. Why are you here? The man says, step away from the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. As Minito then uses his famous flying ride Jinjutsu that Moni's famous for, as the Yellow Flash. He then teleports beside the man as he then kicks the man down. As he then after starts running. As Minito starts, he then grabs Naruto out of the man's hands. As then he sees paper bombs on Naruto's blanket. As he throws them away. As he then teleports Naruto to a safe place. As he places Naruto on a bed and says, I'll go get your mother. As he disappears to get Kushina. Meanwhile, the masked man is distracting the Nine Tails from Kushina. Kushina's like, stop! As she screams out in pain from the Nine Tails getting extracted. As the Nine Tails gets fully extracted. And he starts roaring and says, finally, I'm free! I'm free! Now I could get away from the clutches of humans! As he then sees the masked man. He then looks at the masked man's eyes, and the masked man places a genjutsu on top of the Nine Tails fox, Kurama. As the Nine Tails says, no, damn you, Madara Uchiha. As he falls completely under the control of the masked man we now know as Madara Uchiha, aka Obito, fake Madara. As the Nine Tails gets pulled under control, Madara, or Obito, starts to order the Nine Tails to kill Kushina. As the Nine Tails lifts his claws, ready to stab right through Kushina. As then Minito in a yellow flash comes, grabs Kushina, and disappears. As he teleports to the safe house where Naruto is sleeping in his cradle. As she then puts Kushina laying right beside Naruto. As Kushina then says, in a weak voice, Naruto, don't worry, your dad will save us. As Minito disappears again and reappears while the Nine Tails is trying to attack the village. As he then does hand signs while there's a tailed beast bomb heading towards him. As he then teleports the tailed beast bomb 100 kilometers away. As it explodes, creating a ginormous explosion. As Minito says, I better be careful while I teleport that, or it might destroy the village. As then he says, I have to tell Lord Third about this. Maybe he can help me with something. As he's about to go to Lord Third, he was in Sarutobi. As then he almost gets worked away by the masked man, who tried to sneak up on him, but Minto quickly dodges out of the masked man's sight. As the masked man as the masked man follows Minito into a clearing, as they have their little battle. Meanwhile, in the village, all the shinobi are trying to defeat the Nine Tails. As an old man, an old man around his 60s or 50s, but old, near to retirement. Then says, hold the nine tails off. Make sure he doesn't get close to the village at all. As all say, yes, Lord Third. As a former Hokage leads a large amount of shinobis towards the Nine Tails, ready to fight to the death to protect their home from its wrath. Meanwhile, Minato had already finished defeating the masked man. As he heads to grab Kushina as soon as the Nine Tails is about to destroy the safe house. As Kushina then says, the only way you can destroy is by sealing it. You could seal it in me so I could take it to my grave, and at least Naruto would have a father. As Minato says, no, I cannot do that. First of all, I'll be the Hokage. I'll be cut up with duties. And secondly, it's my duty to protect the village. I won't risk a shinobi's life. At least Naruto will be able to live with you, his mother. As Kushina's like, but I'll still be a Jonin, since by that time the Leaf Village strong point will be weakened. I'll be forced to go back to being a ninja. And I won't be able to take care of Naruto as well. As in Minato then plans to seal the Nine Tails into Naruto, as Kushina objects to that, not wanting her son to face the life of a Jinchuriki, the life of being segregated for no reason, and hated for having the Nine Tails in him. As Minato says, is the only way. And first, I believe that Naruto is the child of prophecy. As Kushina's like, well, I don't care about the child of prophecy. He's my child, and he's my child alone. No stupid prophecy will make me make the decision to ruin his life forever. She exclaims. As Minato says, I have to. It's for the sake of the village. A village is of the sake of the village. Kushina says, seal it in me. I would be a better Jinchuriki, and second I can drag it to my grave, meaning I could kill it at the same instant. But if I become a single father, Naruto might turn down a dark path, and I don't want that for my son. As they go back and forth, as the Nine-Tails Fox brings his claw right down, trying to escape the bindings of Kushina's chain to hit Minato, but Kushina grabs the chain and says, that's the only choice we have, as Kushina sighs, accepting defeat. As then they prepare to seal Minato then prepares a seal. Minato then prepares a seal, the Death Reaper seal, to seal away the Nine Tails in him. He seals some of the Nine Tails in him, and then out of nowhere, he seals some of the Nine Tails in him. And then after sealing the Nine Tails, he then looks at Naruto. Then the Kyuubi at his weakened form says, no, I will not be sealed in a human again, as he lifts up his hand with a sharp claw as he prepares to run it through the baby and kill it. And then Minato and Kushina jump in to protect their son, as the claw goes right through them, as they cough out blood, as some of the blood lands on Naruto's cheek, and he starts to cry. As then after that, Minato finishes the hand signs for the 8 trigram seal. As Minato then says, any last words? Minato's doing the hand seals, and Kushina and Minato asks Kushina, do you have any words to say to Naruto, to baby Naruto? As Kushina then says, Naruto, be careful. I want you to do this. Study hard. Well, you see, study very hard. Not like your mother. I wasn't really good at studying in the academy. Make sure you study very hard. Even though you might not want to become a ninja, but if you do want to, I support it fully. Make sure when you become a ninja, you be careful. Make sure you go to the academy, study hard. Pay attention in class, make some friends. And then become the greatest ninja like your father and I was. Then, if you become a ninja, make sure you don't die. I don't want to see my son dying at the age of 12 or young time. I want to see my son die of an old age disease or something like that. I don't want you to see it die. And thirdly, there will be girls in the academy that you might have a crush on. And if you do, when you grow up, I want you to find a girl that you can spend the rest of your life with and you know will love you. And you know you'll love her too. So please, do that. And always know your mom and father love you. As then Minato then says, Naruto, well, one thing, if I do get grandkids, or anything like that, take care of them. And secondly, if I do see the dude that's your father-in-law, take care of them as well. And thirdly, I want you, when we're probably dead, by the time I'm 18, Hiruzen will tell you or something that's about our house. After finding that house, you find a lot of scrolls and stuff. So make sure you do that. And thirdly, pay attention. And one more thing, watch out for pervy sensei. Watch out for Master Jiraiya. He's your godfather. And secondly, also you might want to look for also don't become and get bad habits like your grandma has Tsunade Senju. And also cherish every single time you have on Earth. Do that. And that was what you're gonna make you a good father. As Minato finishes the hand signs and seals the Kyuubi inside Naruto. As he falls on the ground, so does Kushina. As Minato dies. As Kushina is half dead and half alive. As then the Hokage finally breaks through the barrier and starts to run. As he then sees the deceased Hokage. As he then sees the crying Naruto after witnessing his parents' death. As Hiruzen sighs, the fourth Hokage is dead. As then everyone puts their head down as they see a crying baby who won't stop crying after he witnesses his parents' death. Hiruzen looks at the new Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and then says, I want everything that happened here a secret. Nobody should be told about this. You hear me? If any shinobi who tells anyone about this, especially him when he grows up, I will kill you. As then everyone nods, accepting to the fact this is a triple S rank secret. Tell it and you will be killed. Only high-ranking officials could hear this information. As everyone nods and says, yes, sir. After doing that, The Hokage grabs Naruto as Kushina says, Lord Hokage, take care of me and Minato's son. Okay. As the Hokage nods, as Kushina dies, we skip at least 8 years later, as we see a boy walking through a blonde-haired boy with spiky hair and blue eyes and whiskers on his face, walking and running to town, who is running through town, who's being chased by the mob. He runs and runs and runs until his legs can't bear. He keeps hiding. He asks one question, why does this always happen to me? As he keeps running and running and running, as he's crying because today is his birthday, today is the day the nine-tailed fox killed every single loved one in the village. Every single villagers' loved ones and other stuff. As he's running and running and running and running really fast, as by now it should be nightfall. As he stops, he doesn't know where he is, but he thinks he's lost. The poor 8-year-old Naruto, who does not know what's happening, sits down and sees and starts crying, and then he sees a gate that has symbols on it. As he then walks through, not knowing this was the Uchiha compound, as he starts walking through, after he stumbles upon, after he doesn't know which district he is. Naruto thinks that he's in a clan district, but he doesn't know which one. He doesn't want to be in a clan district that will kill him. So he's looking around, he starts sitting down and crying for being lost, being alone, and from despair and hatred from what the villagers have done to him. As he then smashes his hand against the wall and starts punching and saying, those villagers, they always hate me for no direct reason. They want me dead, they want me to do that. As he hits the wall continuously, as blood is on his knuckles from repeatedly hitting the wall. As he then sighs and sits down and continues to sob, as a relatively older boy walks past and stops after seeing Naruto. As he then stops and says, hello there, are you scared? Hello there, young one, are you okay? Itachi says, as a tall boy with black, long, straight hair tied into a ponytail and wearing a shirt with the Uchiha symbol on it, and black pants and black shinobi sandals, As he then looks down at Naruto, and Naruto then sobs, and then he looks up, and then after Naruto then says, please don't hurt me, he's like, Itachi's like, why would I hurt you? What reason do I have to hurt you? Naruto says, all the villagers always like hurting me, so I thought you were here to hurt me. He's like, hurt you? Why would I hurt you? As Itach, as the boy puts his hand out, as Naruto shakes it, as Itachi then says, hi, my name is Itachi. What's yours? The boy then says, my name is Itachi Uchiha. What's yours? As Naruto says, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. As he says nervously, as Itachi's eyes feels like it's narrowing, as he remembers when Kushina told him that she was gonna have a son, that she was gonna name him Naruto. As he then says, in his head he says, could this actually be Minato and Kushina's son? Well, I don't know. I have to confirm with my mom. As he then he then stands up and says, well, Naruto, if you're lost, I can help you. As Naruto's like, if you're lost, I could help you. I could walk you home. As Naruto then says, mm-mm. As he then tells Itachi that there was mobs. He then says there's mobs chasing after me. They'll probably come back for me, and they'll search my home first. So I don't want to go there right now. They're probably gonna burn it down again. As Itachi's like, well, where are your parents anyway? And he's like, Itachi then asks this question. He's like, if this is actually Naruto, if this is actually Naruto's Kushina's son, he won't have any parents though. As Naruto says, I don't have any parents. The third Hokage tells me my parents died in the Nine-Tails attack. And then he then puts his head down. I wished I had them right now. But no, they're gone. They're gone from this world. That's why I cry and weep every day. As Itachi then says, well, you can come to my house. My mom and dad will probably be willing to let you in. My dad is the clan head of the Uchiha clan anyways. Like, wait, clan head of the what now? Naruto says, as he then says, wait, did you say Uchiha clan? Then that means I'm in the Uchiha clan district. I'm sorry for disrespecting the clan's laws. I shouldn't be in this district without permission. As he then says, you have my permission, and plus I'm the clan head's son. Nobody tried doing anything to you. I'm the oldest son of the clan head, Fugaku, so he won't do anything. Wicked Eye Fugaku, Fugaku Uchiha, he says, you don't have to worry about that. As then Naruto says, okay, as he follows Itachi to his house. As he goes in, as Fugaku then says, Itachi, where have you been? And he's like, I just took a little stroll outside. Where have you been? As Itachi then says, I went to buy some groceries. I went to help mom buy some groceries, and then after Mikito walks in and says, I sent you that for a long time ago. How come you went back? I went to sell a few things. Some of the clansmen stopped by asking me questions, so I had to answer it, of course. I couldn't just ignore them. As then Fugaku's like, questions like what? Like questions that they want to ask about that, about that. And then Fugaku's like, okay. As Naruto then, who's hiding right behind Itachi, clutching onto him really tight, is like, yes, Naruto's that short. As Sasuke runs up to him and says, Big brother Itachi, you're home. As he then hugs Itachi. As Sasuke is like, huh? Who is he? And he then hugs Itachi. As Itachi then says, hey Sasuke. As Naruto then says, Naruto and Sasuke's eyes lock. As then Sasuke says, it's you. And Naruto says, it's you too. As both of them look at each other with eyes locked. As Fugaku and Mikito are surprised. As Fugaku remembers how him and Minato always sparred. And sees a resemblance. And as Fugaku and Mikito see a resemblance to Minato and Kushina. As Naruto then says, yeah, it's you, Sasuke. And he's like, you little loser. As Naruto and Sasuke's eyes lock, and they're about to go into a fight. And Mikito comes in between them and says, hey, you guys, why are you fighting for? And he's like, he's the one who kicked me. He's the one who kicked me and keeps on turning down my fights. And every time he turns into a freaking competition. And then after Sasuke's like, it's not my fault you're a loser. As then Mickey 2 says, Sasuke, take that back. As Sasuke's like, oh, yes, Mom, I'm sorry. Take that back and apologize. As Sasuke then says, yes, Mom, I'm sorry for calling you that, Naruto. As Fugaku then says, well, Itachi, seems we have a guest over. And he's like, how come? And then Itachi then says, well, I saw him lost, and he wandered into a compound. And I didn't read, and I saw him crying, and he told me he was lost. He told me he was lost, that the villagers, he told me that he was lost, that the villagers chased him all the way down here because it was his birthday. As then he's like, those villagers, they never learn. They never learn, do they? You never learn, do they? They don't know the difference between scroll and kunai. This is just a tragedy why people treat people like that. As Fugaku says, as he then walks off, as Fugaku gets up from his chair and asks Naruto, and then he's asked, Naruto, you're Naruto, is it? No last names. And then Naruto says, oh, my name is Naruto. Then Fugaku's like, oh, how rude of me. You're a guest. I have to myself. My name is Fugaku Uchiha. And yours? Naruto Uzumaki. As Mikito Fugaku says, looks at each other. As then Itachi nods. As Fugaku gets his suspicion, this is the son of Minato and Kushina. As Naruto's like, why are you guys looking at each other that weird? As Fugaku's like, what do you mean? I'm like, why did Itachi's eyes turn red with 3 tomoes a few seconds ago? And why did yours turn red with a few tomoes? And also, why did her turn red with a few tomoes? And then Naruto then squints his eyes and he's like, is that some kind of jutsu you can do? He's like, is that some kind of jutsu you can do by forcing chakra into your eyes? As then Naruto tries that, as Fugaku says, no, it's not a jutsu. As Naruto keeps focusing all his intentions on his eyes, as then after he accidentally, unconsciously rushes chakra directly towards his eyes. As it hurts, it starts hurting. And he's like, my eyes! As he screams, from having poured so much chakra into his eyes, caused so much damage. But then after he opened his eyes and then he starts squinting a bit, and he realizes something. So weird and off. Let's just say he realizes something, like he can feel and sense their chakra and emotions. Well, this is due to because the Nine Tails is there, and Naruto forced all his chakra into his eyes, and he's like, huh? And then Naruto then looks around and he's like, what the flip is happening? As Fugaku's like, what do you mean? As Naruto then says, why did everyone just turn blue, red, purple, and you too, Sasuke, are blue? As then everyone just, it's like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, everyone just turned blue with some weird kind of thing that's floating around. As then they noticed something. Naruto's eyes turned red with slits. They thought it was some kind of dojutsu. It was just Naruto forcefully forced a lot of chakra. He might have forced the Kyuubi's chakra unconsciously. The Kyuubi, he was sleeping. Like this man, he was sleeping. As he felt some of his chakra getting ripped from him and put into someone's eyes, as he sees that the kid is able to do that. And Kyuubi, he's surprised. He's really surprised, as he then says, oh my gosh, Kushina, what kind of kid did you make? What kind of kid did you actually make? As he then goes back to sleep. And he says in his head, Minato was right. This might actually be the child of prophecy. As he then goes back to sleep. As Fugaku's like, wait, Naruto, one question. What happened to your eyes? Naruto says, eyes, what do you mean? As Mikito brings him a mirror, as Naruto looks and he says, what happened to my eyes? As he then says, weird, it's like I can suddenly see a flow or something. And they're like, wait, you see blue stuff? Yeah, wait, Naruto, he's in this what if Naruto's really smart. So Naruto's like, one question, could that be actually everyone's chakra source or something? And they're like, wait, as Fugaku say, wait, you can see your chakra. As Fugaku says, you can see your chakra points. Interesting. What a really interesting dojutsu. As he thinks. As Itachi then says, well, I guess here's the food. As Mikito then asks, is anyone hungry? And Naruto says no. As everyone looks at Mikito, as then everyone's stomach growls except for Mikito's. As everyone just nods in a very sarcastic way, and Mikito's sweat drops. As she says, okay. As she prepares food very fast. As she puts them down. As Mikito then says, today for dinner is a buffet and feast. As she has crab and all that stuff. And ramen. As Naruto then says, ramen? Is that what I think it is? As Naruto starts sniffing the air, the smell of soup with cooked broth, the broth of happiness. As then after he's like, the noodles that were made with pure love and care, like how made with pure love and care and were treated so gently and were so peaceful, like how a baby is when they're sleeping. As then he says, the steam smells like the flowers of all the oceans. As then after it's like, you have indeed created the ultimate ramen. As Naruto says, as everyone just looks at him, as then everyone's sweat just drops. As then he says, And then you add a little bit of eggs and some fish cake. As his mouth starts drooling. As everyone just says, Naruto, wait, have you eaten? Naruto says, no, I haven't eaten since. The only thing I'm able to eat is ramen. Since it's the most cheapest thing in the store. And he's like, why don't you get homemade cooked food? I don't have any parents. And secondly, when I try to go and buy some ingredients, they would just overcharge me. Ramen, I'll get it not overcharged, and it's way more cheaper when you overcharge it. As then everyone just says he must have had a tough life. As Naruto then says, let's dig in. As he starts eating really fast, that even Fugaku's sweat drops as the bowl is finished in a matter of seconds. As he then says, oh, that was so good. As his mouth starts watering for more. As Fugaku says, that's the speed of a Jonin. And Fugaku says, why do you eat so fast? You know that you won't feel, you know that can help your tummy. You know that can give you a tummy ache. And Naruto says, well, the truth is I have to eat my food very fast or the villagers will just take it away from me. As then they're like, damn, this kid had a rough childhood in their heads. As then Naruto then says, well, I guess I gotta go. As As Itachi then says, I gotta follow you because I don't want you getting lost and wandering somewhere that you're not supposed to be. Like any clan places that only Uchihas are allowed in. You know. As then everyone's like, okay, yeah. As they walk off, as Itachi escorts Naruto to his house. As this is weeks before the Uchiha massacre. As Naruto sits down on his bed after walking into his house and lays down and sleeps, and he's like, that was so cool. Not only that, I just figured out that I can activate and deactivate my your dojutsu of mine, Fugaku. Sasuke's dad told me, Uncle Fugaku told me as he slept. As he then woke up somewhere that he's not supposed to be in, and he says, where the heck am I? As he then sees a ginormous cage with a tape on it saying seal. As Naruto starts freaking out of where he is, and then he thinks that he's in a weird place that's a dream, and he starts saying it's a dream, think of something else, and he tries, but he can't. He's stuck in the same place. As a big eye opens wide, as Naruto then says, Naruto starts panting as the eye turns into two pairs of eyes. As then a fox with orange fur comes out, and there's tail swinging right behind him. As then Naruto starts to be scared. He starts moving fast, moving back so frantically, trying to get away from what the thing was. And he's like, who are you? As Naruto says, pretty frantically and scared, and he's like, my name is the Nine-Tailed Fox. As the Nine-Tailed Fox said, as Kurama said, whose voice was booming and echoing through the room. As Naruto's like, the Nine-Tailed Fox? I thought the fourth Hokage killed you. He's like, killed me? Fourth Hokage, he can't kill me. It's impossible for humans to kill me. It's impossible for humans to kill me. I'm pure chakra. I'll just come back. As Naruto then says, pure chakra? No way. As Kurama then sits down and says, yes way. As he then starts talking. As he then says, well kid, you're probably wondering where you are. Well, you're in your mindscape. A place where is your mind? And he's like, wait, this is my mindscape? Why is it a sewer? I don't know, maybe because you think nothing and you're a kid. And then Naruto then says, haha, not funny. Not funny, Mr. Fox. As the fox laughs. As then he talks with Naruto. And Naruto gets out of his mindscape. As he's like, whatever that was, it was truly scary. As he then slept off peacefully. As the next day arrives, as we skip 2 weeks from now, this is the day where the Uchiha massacre is happening. As the masked man in this point does not know Naruto's a Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. As Naruto is walking around, as he sees somebody move through the shadows really fast, as he follows this person really fast, and he's completely confused what the heck is happening here. As he follows them, this person turns out to be Itachi, as he puts on a mask outside the Uchiha compound, and he pulls out his sword, and he's like, what's happening? Naruto says, what's happening? As Itachi goes through, he cuts down a man walking through, and then he cuts down another person, killing them. As Naruto's like, what's going on? As he frantically panics, thinking maybe I should go to the Hokage or do something. As he sees another man pop up, warping through a vortex, and he's like, maybe not. If I trigger one of them, they might come and kill me. And then Naruto says, my only choice is to follow them. That's it. I can't go anywhere else or I'm gonna get spotted. As he follows Itachi after he's massacred the whole entire clan. As Naruto does not know what's happening. As he then sees Itachi finish. As then he stops at his house after killing them. As Sasuke runs through. As then he sees Sasuke crying a few hours later and running after Itachi, who disappears. As Naruto sees Itachi again at a bush while he's hiding in a bush, as he follows Itachi, as the masked man disappears. Since the masked man disappeared, Naruto just stays there. And he's like, what's happening? As he sees Itachi look at him, as he then says, Naruto, I know you're there. And then he says, Itachi, what was that for? As Itachi then says, it was to test my mere power. As Naruto says, stop the crap, I know you're lying. It's like, huh? What do you mean? As Naruto's eyes are activated, Naruto calls the eyes of the truth. They're called the eyes of the truth. They can sense if you're lying. And I see you're lying. It's not because of that. Is it? It's because of something else. As Itachi then sighs and says, it's because I was ordered to do it. I was ordered to do it to prevent the Uchiha clan from having an uprising by the Hokage. And he's like, wait, to do a rebellion or coup d'etat just because of the Nine-Tails attack? And Naruto then says, so he's like, how did you know? First of all, because the Uchiha have the Sharingan and they can control the Nine-Tails if they're powerful enough. And secondly, the Uchiha were prime suspects because that would be the case. So I won't see the point of the leaf pointing it at Uchiha and interrogate them, frankly. As then Naruto then says, Itachi then says, well, what? Naruto's like, but what are you gonna do? As then Itachi then says, I have to leave. As he then knows what's gonna happen, Itachi has been protecting Naruto since, and treating Naruto like he was his brother. As Itachi then says, Naruto, you can't be here anymore. As Itachi and Naruto's like, why? Because the leaf is gonna find out if they find out you were here. How? First of all, they can track your footprints. Not only that, they'll be able to smell another scent and lead it right to you. Meaning you have to come with me or they will catch me. And they will interrogate you of what's happening. And if you don't tell them and try to leave, they'll suspect you of being involved in this case and torture you to tell them the information.